Right, guys. I just saw this little interview this little exclusive interview that Sky Sports Boxing had with Anthony Joshua that was conducted by Adam Smith. Unfortunately, I can't play it because when it comes to Sky Sports Boxing, they're very firm with you using their clips, their audio, their footage. So if I were to play this, they would literally block the video and you guys wouldn't be able to see the video. So I'm not going to click play or play the video, but I'm just going to be um, telling you my opinion on what I thought of some of the things he said on this interview with Adam Smith. Now, first of all, one of the things he confirms in this interview was he says that uh, he was contemplating, three options. What should I do? Should I stick with my trainer? The people I've been with that been with me since day one. A, B, should I bring somebody new to the camp? Stick with my trainer, but bring new faces to my training camp to help me out as a fighter, to improve me as a boxer. Or three, should I fire everybody in my team, my trainer, everybody, and just get everybody new? And he says that he thought that was silly. He's not going to fire his trainer, so he's going to stay with his trainer. And what he decided is he's going to bring a new face in. And one of the guys he was talking about was George Foreman. He says that he's going to hit up George Foreman. So I think that's a good thing. A lot of people felt that he should have, taken a different trainer because a lot of people blame his trainer, Robin McCracken, for his demise against Andy Ruiz Jr. And that's why he lost. A lot of people say that. I think that Anthony Joshua, I think it's a good thing that he's bringing new faces because I do think that he has to change some things like holding on to Andy Ruiz when he gets on the inside, or if he gets hurt, like to grab onto Andy Ruiz and to lean on him and to like hold on. And let's say he gets hurt. I think that's a good thing he needs to learn because he doesn't seem to know how to hold on to guys when he's hurt. Instead, he fights back. And when you do that and you're hurt and you're fighting back, you leave yourself vulnerable. So I always thought that Joshua needs to learn how to like clinch in fights, especially when he's hurt and when a guy like Andy Ruiz is on the inside against him, lean on him. So hopefully the guys that he does bring into his training camp could teach him a thing or two. So I thought that was cool that he's going to bring new people. He's not going to replace his team. He's about loyalty, but he's going to bring in new people. He also admits in this interview that he would love it to be in Cardiff, Wales. What's his name? He says that he wouldn't mind where it takes place, but he wants it to be in Cardiff, Wales or in the UK basically, because he wants to feel the energy. He says that when he wanted to fight there because, if you have 70,000 people screaming, rooting for you to win, he says that gives you, you feed off that energy basically. You feed off that energy. It makes you stronger, I guess. It just makes you a better fighter. It gives you more will because now you know that all these people want you to succeed. They want you to take your belts back. So obviously, psychologically, that's a good thing for you as a boxer. So that's why he says that he would want it to be in the UK. But he addresses that obviously Andy Ruiz Jr. does not want to fight there. And he says that obviously Andy Ruiz Jr. has a say in the matter because he is the champion. He even says here that he wants Andy Ruiz Jr. to have a say in the matter because he is a champion. He acknowledges he is a champion. And he acknowledged that he doesn't really care where it takes place. It could happen in Mexico. It could happen in Madison Square Garden. It could happen in neutral grounds. But he would prefer it to happen in the UK because he says he wants to fight in front of his fans, and obviously he's gonna, like I said, it's gonna build him up and it's gonna help him. One thing I'll tell you here, though, I do think, another thing he says is that he wants to find the passion back, his passion back, the desire to win. And one thing I'll say here is, in my opinion, I thought Joshua looked like he was a bit like a little annoyed, in my opinion, just with his body language. I do think that he's motivated. He says that Ruiz thought he fought the best version of himself that night, and he says that he felt he fought the best version of Andy Ruiz. But he says that because Adam Smith asked him, why did you choose to immediately fight Andy Ruiz Jr.? And he says, because he's not in the business to be fighting second tier heavyweights, these other heavyweights that are not champions. He's in the business to fight the best of the best, and that's why he chose to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. because he could have really fought a bum. He could have fought Otto Wallen, right? He could have done what Tyson Fury's doing. Just fight two bums before you get the Wilder fight, right? He could have fought a bum, and then or like a tune-up fight where he just knocks out the guy in 30 seconds, and then people are like, "Woo, Joshua's back," and they're kissing his ass, even though that was always gonna happen, right? I like that about Joshua though. Tyson Fury should take notes because Anthony Joshua lost in a very bad fashion. He could have just fought some bum. He could have chose Otto Wallen. He could have fought Tom Shorts. He could have gone around acting like, oh, look, this guy's unbeaten. What are you talking about? He's a great fighter. He's unbeaten. And acted like this was a competitive fight and then go in there, blow him out of there as a tune-up fight. But he's actually going and fighting the guy who's beat him, who gave him his first loss. And like I said, he really didn't need to do that. He could really cherry pick some easy bums. So you got to give him some credit for doing that. Again, Tyson Fury should take notes because look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is not doing that. Tyson Fury is getting the Wilder fight and he's cherry picking these easy bums to not risk it. So it's like, okay, I know I'm going to fight Wilder, so let me just fight these easy bums. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua came off a loss and he's fighting the guy who beat him immediately, right? He's not fighting no easy bum tune-ups. And he says, why fight a tune-up fight when I could just I have opportunities to fight for my championship belts and win them again. And his plan is to regain it by the end of the year. And I already told you guys how I feel about that. He could do it. He says that he feels he could beat Andy Ruiz Jr. He definitely has the power to drop him. And if you have the power to drop somebody, that means you have the power to knock them out. But like I said, I think he has to just change his tactics. And I do think, and another thing I want to talk about is he talked about that he's trying to improve things in his some of his improve some things. And I think he was trying to basically tell you that he was going to improve his stamina. I think that's what he needs to work on, seriously. Improving his stamina. Clinching. And some people feel like he needs to box Andy Ruiz Jr., play a negative fight. Maybe do that too, but not just be negative. Obviously you want to take some risks and, be entertaining and stuff. But I do think that Anthony Joshua is probably upset and he probably feels that he let his fans down for losing. So I do think, I get the sense that he wants to erase this loss by beating the guy who beat him, right? He wants to, because obviously if he never fights Andy Ruiz Jr., people will always go back and say, well, you couldn't beat Andy Ruiz Jr., but he says that he feels he could beat him. I do think he could beat him, but he just has to, I think he has to play it a little bit safer. I think he has to clinch a little bit more. I think he has to have better stamina. And I think he has to keep Andy Ruiz away from him. That's another thing I think he needs to do. I don't think he needs to have Andy Ruiz all up in his grill. Because that's how he got knocked down the first time or hit with that left hook that rocked him and dropped him the first time. Andy Ruiz was way too close. So I guess we could just wait and see. And also he says that he's not focusing on the business because Adam Smith asked him, when is this going to be confirmed, the fight date? And he says he's not even focused. He says he left that to, I guess, the people who are in charge, Eddie Hearn or whatever. So he's not even focusing on that. To me, like I said, the vibe I got from Joshua here is that he's motivated. I think he is motivated. I think he maybe feels slightly embarrassed that he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. because he was supposed to beat him. He was the favorite going into the fight. Andy Ruiz was the underdog. Joshua was supposed to beat him. That's why this is considered. That's why people keep saying this was the biggest upset. One of the biggest upset in the heavyweight division. Definitely the biggest upset this year. Because he was supposed to win, So, like I told you guys, I do think that it would have been better if Joshua would have fought Ruiz after a couple of fights. But like Joshua says himself, he's not built from that cloth that, fighting easier opponents. He wants to challenge himself. He wants to fight the guy who beat him. So, you got to respect him. At least even if he loses, let's say he loses to Andy Ruiz Jr., at least he tried to beat him. At least he went for it. But, like I said, I guess we're going to have to just wait and see when they announce this fight and where the fight's going to take place. I don't think it's going to take place in the UK just because Andy Ruiz keeps saying no. And I just don't, unless Eddie Hearn throws a bunch of money at him, his way and then that motivates him to want to fight there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of what Anthony Joshua said, and I'm out. Thanks for watching. Peace.